Moon Day Quiz. Which day is celebrated as International Moon Day every year? July 20. When did the first global celebration of International Moon Day take place? July 20, 2022. Which United Nations body officially declared July 20 as International Moon Day? The United Nations General Assembly. In which year did the United Nations General Assembly officially declare July 20 as International Moon Day? 2021. Which non-governmental organization originally proposed the creation of International Moon Day to the UN? The Moon Village Association. What is the official global theme for International Moon Day 2026? One moon, one vision, one future. Which city serves as the official host location for the International Moon Day 2026 main event? Bogota, Colombia. International Moon Day is observed on July 20 to honor which specific historical milestone? The first human landing on the moon. Which American space program put a man on the moon? The Apollo program. Who was the first man to land on the moon? Neil Armstrong. In which year Neil Armstrong landed on the moon? July 20, 1969. The second man to land on the moon? Buzz Aldrin. What was the name of the place on the moon where man first landed? Sea of Tranquility. When Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the moon's surface, who stayed in the spacecraft taking the control of it? Michael Collins. Name the space flight that carried Neil Armstrong to moon. Apollo 11. Which rocket carried Apollo 11 into space? Saturn V. What was the name of the lunar landing module of the Apollo 11 mission that carried Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin to the moon's surface in July 1969? Eagle. Name the space research agency that launched Apollo 11 spacecraft. NASA. NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. NASA is the space agency of which country? United States. Which country's spacecraft was the first to touch the moon? The Soviet Union. What was the first spacecraft to touch the moon? Luna 2. Which was the first spacecraft to achieve a soft landing on the moon? Luna 9. In which year the first soft landing on the moon achieved? 1966. Which vehicle was used by the astronaut to navigate the moon for the first time? Lunar Roving Vehicle (LRV). Which is the fourth country to successfully land a spacecraft on the moon? India. Which was India's first lunar mission? Chandrayaan 1. Where was Chandrayaan 1 launched? Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh. When was Chandrayaan 1 launched? October 22, 2008. Who suggested the name Chandrayaan for India's lunar mission? Atal Bihari Vajpayee. What was the name of the Indian impact probe that was deliberately crashed onto the moon's surface during the Chandrayaan 1 mission? The Moon Impact Probe. Which mission first discovered the presence of water molecules on the moon? Chandrayaan 1. Which instrument detected the presence of water molecules on the moon? Moon Mineralogy Mapper. What was the major discovery made by Chandrayaan 1 on the moon? Presence of water molecules. In which year was India's lunar mission Chandrayaan 2 launched? 2019, July 22. Which historic Indian mission made global history by becoming the first to land a spacecraft near the lunar south pole? Chandrayaan 3. When was Chandrayaan 3 launched? July 14, 2023. Which vehicle is used in the launch of Chandrayaan 3? LV-M3-M4 Launch Vehicle Mark III. What is the name of the rover and lander of Chandrayaan 3? Rover Pragyan, lander Vikram. How many days did Chandrayaan 3 take to reach the moon's surface? 40 days. When was Chandrayaan 3 landed on the moon? August 23, 2023. What is the official name given by India to the region on the moon's south pole where Chandrayaan 3 successfully landed? Shiv Shakti Point. Following the success of Chandrayaan 3, The Government of India declared August 23rd as National Space Day. Which space agency has launched Chandrayaan 3? ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. ISRO is established in which year? August 15, 1969. Where is the headquarters of ISRO located? Antariksh Bhavan, Bangalore. Who was the chairman of the Indian Space Research Organization during the historic touchdown of Chandrayaan 3? S. Somanath. What is the name of India's upcoming human spaceflight program that will send astronauts into space? Gaganyaan. What is the upcoming joint lunar mission of India and Japan? LUPEX, Lunar Polar Exploration Mission. What is the name of NASA's multinational program aiming to land the next humans at the lunar South Pole? The Artemis program. In January 2024, which country became the fifth nation to soft land on the moon with its ultra-precious Moon Sniper lander? Japan. Which country made history by successfully retrieving the first ever soil samples from the far side of the moon using its Chang'e 6 mission? China. What is the name of the planned small spaceship that will orbit the moon and serve as a communication hub and science lab for future astronauts? The Lunar Gateway. What was the name of the historic robotic lander built by Intuitive Machines that became the first commercial spacecraft to successfully land on the moon? Odysseus. What is the term for the astronomical phenomenon where the moon passes directly into the Earth's shadow? A lunar eclipse. The natural satellite of the Earth is the Moon. About how long does it take the Moon to orbit the Earth? 27.3 days. Name the earthly phenomenon that is affected by the Moon. Tides. Who was the first Italian scientist to observe craters on the Moon? Galileo Galilei. What are the dark, flat plains on the lunar surface traditionally called? Maria. What is the approximate fractional gravity of the Moon compared to Earth? 1/6 of Earth gravity. If a person weighs 60 kg on Earth, what will their approximate weight be on the Moon? 10 kg. What is the term used when the moon is closest to Earth in its elliptical orbit? Perigee.